In Pokémon Legends ZA, you start off as a pathetically weak Z-rank trainer, and have to battle your way to the top, becoming A-rank, hence the name. In other words,
I wanna be the very best.
Remind you of someone? Naturally, for my first playthrough of this game, I wanted to see if Ash has what it takes to become an A-rank trainer. This challenge has a single rule. I can only use the Pokemon Ash did on his journey, with the caveat that I will let them fully evolve because Mega Evolutions are a major component of this game. Before we begin, are you already playing ZA? What rank are you? Oh, and there will be spoilers throughout this video. I start off making this kid look as much like Ash as I can. It's not great, granted, but it's the best I've got. Immediately afterwards we get a cutscene indicating some trouble in paradise. And some really old dude makes a cameo, now reunited with his partner Pokemon. That's enough about them. Can we get back to me? As I arrive in Lumiose City by train, distracted by my phone, this unknown thing works its way into my bag. As soon as I enter the city proper, a video is put out by Jet, the CEO of Quasartico Inc. She gives me the whole rundown of how our world is filled with Pokemon. So many, in fact, that they need to be kept quarantined into their own regions of the city, called Wild Zones. Now some might say that those Pokemon are separated from us, but they're still equal in some respect. I'm calling it, that CEO lady is a bad guy. Or woman, rather. My first order of business here is to get my bag back from a Pancham with help from Tawny, this random girl I just met. She just so happens to bring along 2 Johto starters and 1 from Unova. Now technically, Ash used all of these guys at one point, and even though I'm partial to fire starters, Tepig is the main exception. So let's go with Totodile instead. This brings us to our first real-time battle. Basically how it works is I can move around the field and Totodile will more or less follow me. Every time he uses a move, there is a cooldown period before I can use the same one. Stronger moves tend to have longer cooldowns. Between Leer, lowering Pancham's defense, and tackles, our first battle is won quite easily. At this rate, I'll be rank A in no time. Mission 1 complete. For my victory, Tawny rewards me with a simple fist bump. What? No explosion or snail or anything? Lame. The Totodile bump is so much better. Look at that cute guy. At this point, night falls on the city, and with it, Lumiose's main attraction, the Battle Zone. Basically, if you're caught in a battle zone at night, you can be beat up on sight. Not all that different from St. Louis, if we're being honest. Anyway, the freaks that come out at night literally only want one thing, and it's disgusting. They want to increase their rank. And you can't say no in a battle zone. This lady starts off with a Cleffa, so not too bad. One thing you realize pretty quickly here is that certain moves require close contact with the opponent, like Tackle, while others, such as Water Gun, make your Pokemon move a little bit away first. So not only do you need to worry about type advantages, but also where you're located on the field. Her Cleffa and Bunnelby aren't too tough, giving me an easy victory. But since I'm not technically registered, I don't get any battle points. More on that later. Right at the exit, I encounter more trainers who I clearly won't have to fight because little Totodile wouldn't stand a chance against a freaking Heracross. I really hope I can get one though. The Eternal Floette appears and saves the day with its special Light of Ruin attack. Yeah, that is pretty intimidating. Anyway, I get to Tawny's home base, Hotel Z, owned by none other than AZ, who looks much less intimidating than he did in X and Y. And out of my bag climbs a little booger that nobody seems to notice. He gives me the key to a room, so I guess this is where I live now too. Finding a place to live is actually pretty easy. What are all these Gen Zs complaining about? The thing is, this building only has an elevator, which I'm pretty sure is a major fire hazard, but hey, building regulations were probably a bit different 3,000 years ago. Once I've left, ZA lets on to the fact that he did in fact see that slimy slug. I guess his millennium-old eyes still work fine. The next morning, Tawny tells me about the ZA Royale, which is what I unwillingly took part in last night. Well, that's ominous. Protecting Lumiose from what, exactly? Is Lysander back or something? How long has it been anyway? I don't get any answers just yet, but as if my phone was listening this whole time, they all are, by the way, yours too, it invites me to join the Royale, and I'm put on Tawny's team MZ, which comes with an okay jacket. Some indoor rolling later, I meet another MZ member, Lida. Lida? Who knows, or cares. Outside, Tawny wants to test out my skills, and Totodile and I easily defeat the 2 reject starters. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Through the city, there are obstacles, like this one, where you need certain types of moves to get past. I'm not really going to show many of them, so you'll be surprised in your own game. This brings us to Wild Zone number 1. The catching tutorial features a fletchling, which is fine by me because I would love to get one. But the game makes me fail the first time. What the heck was that for? Oh well, I get him second try, as well as a Bunnelby, a Scatterbug, and even a Hiding Weedle. Mareep too. Not that I can use any of those, but catching them is still a fun experience. It turns out that Mabel, a previous Team Flare scientist, that doesn't seem safe, wants me to go around harassing the wildlife, and if I do, she'll give me rewards. Mostly TMs, but the ultimate gift is the shiny charm. Sweet. This means I have to catch a lot of Pokemon. That's the main way to get points and level up the research. Outside of her lab, I meet Naveen, another MZ member. This guy, who I totally thought was a girl for a good chunk of the game, gives me a hat and tells me how to dress myself. Thank you. I want to go find some shops to buy new Ash-like clothes. The only problem is when I actually try to go basically anywhere, I'm constantly stopped. For an open world game, it's not very open, or world for that matter. It's literally just a city. I find a Pichu and try to get him a la Assassin's Creed, but she immediately runs away. That's alright, a new one comes along soon enough and I get Ash's iconic Pichu. I have a feeling I'm gonna need a ton of Pokeballs, so let's spend my life savings, all 20 minutes of it, to buy 124. Why not? Back at the hotel, I get the first promotion match announcement. Basically, this is the guy I need to beat up to become a Y rank. The only thing is, you need a challenger's ticket first. Defeating random Royale trainers gives you points towards that challenger's ticket. So I head back out into the night, in spite of my traumatizing experience last time. The first trainer gets me around 1/3 of the way there, so this shouldn't be too hard. Especially since I can roll around like a ninja and attack them when their backs are turned. What? There's no honor among Pokemon trainers. With that decisive victory, I earn the oh-so-coveted purple hologram ticket. And you can earn more Pokemon Challenge videos, just like this one, simply by subscribing to the channel, and becoming a member gives you early access to videos. For promotion battles, it's apparently imperative to disregard concepts such as personal space. Not super comfortable with that, but when in Lumio City, you do what the freaks do. It turns out Zach is a taxi driver, and when he gets A rank, which will be never, he will ban all other forms of transportation. When you become an A rank trainer, you get a wish granted or something like that. I don't know, it's not super clear. Anyway, let's do this thing, Zach. He starts off with a Slowpoke that Lil Pichu simply can't handle. Well, that was a bad start. With Leers and Tackles, Totodile finishes it off, learning Bite only after it fainted. That would have been a useful move, but I do use it to defeat Pidgey. Last is Zach's Pikachu, but an actually evolved one. 2/3 of my team is weak to electric, and the other third is a Pichu. Fletchling quickly kicks the metaphorical bucket, but Totodile does save the day with some bites. It would have really sucked losing in my first promotion battle. Zach is sad about his defeat, of course, but I'm the protagonist, so who cares about him? He was just a stepping stone, getting me to rank Y. Yay! But I'd better not have to go through each individual letter. That would really suck. At the end of each night, you get money based on how many medals you either picked up during the Royale or what trainers handed over. That is 13 Pokeballs worth of money right there. Once again, someone alludes to a mysterious danger, but doesn't tell me anything. How am I supposed to help if you act like this? Does it involve the slug, perchance? Or maybe this monstrosity that Tawny made? She claims it's curry, and I may not be a curry connoisseur just yet, still looking for the right school, but I've never seen a curry so solid. I just don't think they're supposed to hold their shape quite like that. Yeah, I'm with Naveen on this one. After what I'm sure was an unpleasant night after eating that thing, I meet Tarragon, who gives me a canary plush. Remember that name, it'll be relevant soon enough. I'm not a canary fan, so no thank you. Oh, extra experience? I take it back. I'm a huge fan. The biggest, in fact. There's also these random mega crystals throughout the city that you break to get mega shards. These will also be relevant a bit later on. For now, here is Prism Tower in all its glory. That is currently closed due to renovations. Right. Not suspicious in the slightest. Some parkour later, I get to Wild Zone 2, where I go a bit crazy catching Magikarps. They're just too easy to catch, even if Ash can't use them. They still level up my research though. At this rate, I'm going to be catching far too many Pokemon. Let's see if I can fill up all of these boxes. I talk to some random dude who gives me a Quick Claw, which will occasionally decrease the reset time for moves. That's actually really useful. Glad I found it. Totodile can hold on to it until he needs to Mega Evolve. While I'm trying to eat something actually edible, I'm interrupted by Vinny, the secretary of the certainly not evil lady from the opening video. He's kind of scary, honestly, as is Ivor, the leader of a group called the Fist of Justice. He opposes the idea of separate but equal and wants us all to live in harmony with Pokemon. There's nothing wrong with that. Buff Guy's got a point. After all, if you encounter a dangerous Pokemon, you can just beat him up via hand-to-hand combat. Alright, I revoke my previous praise. This guy's an idiot. We meet up with Tawny's detective friend Emma, who is simply contemplating the mysteries of the universe and 100% not asleep. She ropes me into doing some detective work for her, as if I'm a cyber sleuth or something. Come on, man. I'm pretty busy right now. After all, if I'm working for you, who's gonna catch me a Pidgey? Nice. A new team member. Or Pidgeotto. Even nicer. A newer, better team member. The first detective mission involves finding a great big Bunnelby, who has red eyes. That's never a good sign. Turns out it was an alpha, a much stronger than normal wild Pokemon. They appear from time to time. In the next Wild Zone, I get a Ghastly, my all-time favorite ghost. And far too many Skulltulas. Gotta get that giant wallet somehow. Now, there's an awful lot of roof and scaffold climbing in this game, which is kind of weird when you can really only walk around and not actually climb over a tiny little ledge. You do get something quite a bit later on, but still, this is frustrating. I finally find some decent Ash-like clothes, but I still can't get a good haircut. I mean, this one doesn't look too bad, but is it worth 30 Pokeballs? I don't think so. Anyway, here is the new and improved Ash. Bet you can't tell the difference at all. The second detective quest, yes, I'm still working on them, involves a simple trade. My Pikachu for her Heracross? Heck yeah! I'd trade almost anything to get my favorite bug. I have a feeling he's going to be leading my team to victory. Too bad I can't change his name. What does boys even mean anyway? After completing the detective quests, I defeat the detective lady herself, but she obviously went easy on me, keeping her Mega Ampharos for show and tell later on. Well, that's the first Mega of the game, but it certainly won't be the last. By the end of this video, you're gonna be sick of them. My next promotion battle is against Yvonne, but without a challenger's ticket, she tells me to kick rocks. Fine, let's enter the Royale again. Now, there are little blue tickets you can pick up in between battles that give you bonus points as you complete randomly assigned quests. Sometimes they're easy to do, and other times not so much. It takes 5 wins to get all the points I need for the promotion battle. So let's get up close and personal with Yvonne, whose big goal is to have a Lumiose City Marathon, which is fine, but I feel like you could just request that without being an A-rank trainer, but what do I know? With my team of 6 Pokemon, I defeat her pretty easily, causing her to run away in shame. But that gets me to rank X. Only most of the alphabet left to go. The next morning, I wake up and learn that Pokemon don't evolve on their own. Instead, you need to evolve them manually in the menu. Totodile gets first dibs, because obviously, but Fletchling follows shortly after. I battle Naveen right in front of the hotel, which is not a great way to attract customers, I imagine, but my newly evolved Pokemon are simply too strong for this guy, who I still thought was a girl at this point, to handle. That Scraggy was pretty cool though. I'd like one too. My next promotion will be on the back of Zavi. Hey, wait a minute. All these opponents' names start with their ranks. It's kinda sad it took me this long to realize. But hey, I've already been awake for 10 whole minutes. It's time to go back to bed. It's been a long day. That night, after defeating 5 more trainers, I get the challenge ticket And this kid is so small. I feel bad about trouncing him. Just a tad, anyway. Not enough to stop me from doing it. Heracross is just too strong for his Furfrou, getting me another new rank. Now I know for you in this video, this seems fast, but for me this has taken hours, so I'm really hoping to get a rank jump sometime soon. They really can't expect me to go through every letter, can they? Life's not all about battling though. Sometimes you need to sit on a bench and watch your pocket monsters stare at you. It's the little things in life. Once I've had enough of that, I sit back down and wait until night falls. Several defeated trainers later, I meet Rintaro, my next promotion match. Wait a second. There's no W in Rintaro. What gives? He starts with Simisage, who is defeated quite easily with the now Fire-type Fletchinder. Simipour proves too powerful for the still unevolved Pichu, so I unleash the bug to Pin Missile, Aerial Ace, and Rock Smash in quick succession. Croconaw then handles his Simisear quite easily, giving me another simple victory. But these ranks are coming just a bit too slow for my liking. Outside of the restaurant, I encounter the more evolved form of that green slime who's been following me this entire time. Now we trade roles, with me following him in his dog form, till he runs at me and somehow puts me on the roof. I wish I could jump like that. We're not alone here though. There's a sick looking Absol. AZ conveniently appears to lend me his Lucario with a Mega Ring because this Absol Mega Evolves too. Apparently these are called Rogue Mega Evolutions and they've been plaguing Lumio City for some time. These battles aren't difficult per se, for the most part, but they do have a crazy amount of HP, so it takes some time. After collecting enough of these little orbs, Lucario also Mega Evolves, but still doesn't do a crazy amount of damage or anything. The worst part is that Rogue Megas like to attack you, the trainer. I thought that was off limits for civilized folk, but then again, rogues don't fit that description. I calm the Absol down by knocking its block off, which doesn't work as well for people. Trust me, I've tried. I also get an Absolite at the same time. So that's what everyone's been scared about in this city. Random Pokemon going Mega would certainly be a concern. It turns out that Tawny also has a Mega Ring and a Manectric, who I immediately defeat. Now that I too have a Mega Ring, I head to the Stone Emporium to browse their Mega Wares. Good to know. Hopefully I will use some of these later on. Like maybe hypothetically on this Gibble I catch in the next Wild Zone. I get a Sandile here too. I try to catch an Alpha Crocorock, but he has other plans. Well, this marks my first blackout, I guess? I didn't run out of Pokemon or anything, but I was defeated. Oh well. We have 2 quick evolutions before heading over to meet Vinny. This guy, who again works for Quasartico Inc., heard about my rogue encounter last night, and he wants to enlist my help in stopping them in the future. Apparently the whole idea of the Battle Royale was to find strong trainers to protect the city from these very dangers. To make sure I'm good enough, Vinny wants me to battle him in a promotion match, which will take me all the way up to rank F. I knew there had to be a rank jump somewhere. Now this might seem unfair, or like favoritism, since I won't have to work my way through earning each and every rank, but hey, that's Ash's MO, at least in the Kanto region. Half of those gym badges he didn't really earn. Vinny, now we're back to the rank names it seems, that's kinda weird, starts with Houndoom, but Croconaw is too strong for it. I try to use my still unevolved Pichu against Sharpedo, and it clearly doesn't work. That's fine, I have a brick-breaking Heracross for him, and Little Bunnelby too. Then it's time to face a Mega Drampa. Still not a fan of that guy to be honest. Heracross does an incredible job and almost wins, but can't go the distance. Ice Fanging Croconaw can, winning me the battle, and more importantly, a huge increase in rank, all the way up to F. Now that's what I'm talking about. That was sweet. Tawny also wins, becoming another F-rank trainer. Apparently AZ told Vinny about the danger of Rogue Mega Evolution some time ago, so he's been trying to fix it ever since. With seemingly little help from the actual CEO, I really don't like that woman. But her business does trade Mega Stones for the shards I've been collecting, and I just so happen to have enough for the Heracronite. Now that's what I'm talking about. At this point, Croconaw also evolves, but Pichu still doesn't. This is getting old. Now the Mega Shards aren't hard to get, they're kind of all over the place, but it looks like I should stock up just a bit. This is where I find out how much of a creepy stalker Naveen is. You see, there's an electric type user who loves streaming games named Canary, not to be confused with the electric type user who loves streaming called Iono. It's kind of weird they reused the same basic character, but that's beside the point. The point is that Naveen, who I now find out is a guy, is obsessed with her. Like, creepily so. And he doesn't want me to sully her name with a battle. Thank goodness this conversation has ended because of a few rogue megas. I'd much rather deal with them. After getting the Feraligatr from AZ. I can't wait to use this. Every time there is a rogue mega, there are 3. Not sure why, that's just how Arceus made them. The first one in line is Slowbro, who looks redonkulous. I also learn about plus moves, which is a way to use the Mega Meter to deal some damage without needing to Mega Evolve. But screw that, Heracross deserves to be Mega, and this is the first real one I've used. Lucario doesn't count, as it wasn't technically mine. Now that he's super buff, his Pin Missiles and Shadow Claws are decently strong. It still takes some time, but eventually Slowbro is calmed down as I get a completely useless Mega Evolution Stone. The next Rogue Mega is a Camerupt, giving me the perfect chance to show off Mega Feraligatr in all his weird glory. Between Bubble Beam, Aqua Jet, Ice Fang, and even Crunch, Camerupt stands no chance. By the way, the Mega Meter slowly depletes, so you still need to collect those orbs to stay evolved a little bit longer. If it runs out completely, it's not a big deal, you just have to fill it back up and evolve again. Goodbye Mega Camerupt. At this point, Pichu finally likes me enough to evolve. About freaking time. And even though Ash is stuck with Pikachu, I'ma get a Raichu. They're much better. Before facing the third Mega, I detour to the Battle Royale to get my birds some experience. The only downside of now being F-ranked is I need way more points, and I run out of time the first night. Oh well, that experience helped me get a Talonflame and Pidgeot too, just in time for the giant fat victory bell. I also just so happened to have bought a Pidgeotite. Mega Pidgeot is still not the strongest, he's a bit underleveled also, but he looks pretty awesome. This battle goes on a bit too long, however, and I end up blacking out to poison. Not my Pokemon, just me. It turns out that I am the weakest link. Things go a lot better the second time around. I want to rest after that long day of Mega Evolving, but Zygarde has other plans. Following his inevitable defeat, and his bestowal of a completely unremarkable pebble, a mysterious stranger appears. He looks awfully familiar, though older and with one fewer eye. L, is it? Not really even hiding your name, but I'll pretend to be surprised at the inevitable reveal later. He tries to give me advice about protecting the city, but let's be honest, L is the last person you'd want to listen to about that. It didn't go so well last time he took charge. My next promotion match just so happens to be against Canary the Streamer Girl. What are the chances of that? No one knows where she lives, not even creepy Naveen over here, but she does have a quiz competition coming up that I can crash. Naveen is going to help me cheat with an earpiece, which feels kind of wrong, but also you can't just hide away from the world and play video games all the time, Canary. Get a life and battle me. I get into the compound by giving the password one word at a time, because that's more exciting or something. I'm going to be competing against, how can I put this kindly, other Canary-obsessed creeps. Exhibit A, big guy with glasses and unkempt hair. Yeah, I didn't ask what you middle-aged guys call your group that is centered around a teenage girl. It's pretty weird, and I want no part of it. Canary appears, not in person mind you, we're not important enough for that. She begins the quiz, and the first questions are all true-false, though Naveen refuses to give me the answers. What the heck is that about? The first answer is obviously true, I didn't need help for that. Then, my true genius strategy kicks in. I just follow around the glasses guy and answer whatever he does. It works perfectly for the second question, and the third as well. This was almost too easy. Thanks for knowing so much that it's a little bit weird. After the questions, I need to go and fetch Electros's favorite dessert, at which point Naveen deems me worthy of help. About time. On the way to the bakery, I encounter a Howlucha hiding on the rooftops. Hey, Ash had one of those, so I catch him. A new team member, yay! If Glasses Guy is here too, I must be at the right spot. Cool. This is a specific type of Lumiose Galette, whatever the heck that is, that is crunchy just the way Electros likes it. To decide which of us moves on, we have a battle that is simple with a Mega Heracross. Inconceivable indeed, my good sir. Thanks for your help though. Anyway, that's enough of this nonsense. I win the quiz and demand a promotion battle. I go where she tells me to and find this guy from forever ago who gave me the Canary plush. Remember him? He'll spill the beans on Canary if I defeat him. He has, among other things, a freaking Mega Excadrill? Not sure I love that design, but an A for effort, I suppose. With Mega Feraligatr, I still win, prompting him to share his whole life story that nobody asked for. Basically, Canary is his granddaughter, but she doesn't like doing things such as not playing games, so acting as any supportive grandfather would, he uses a hologram to impersonate Canary and interact with her fans. As a probably 100-year-old guy acting like a teenage girl, that's strangely even creepier than Glasses Guy was. Now, he didn't need to tell me all of this, or any of it, but I'm sure it was good to confess. All I care about is the promotion battle, which begins in short order. I'm feeling pretty confident here, as I've brought along 2 ground types. Krokorok defeats her Heliolisk, just barely. Gabite gets Dragon Pulsed by her Ampharos, but also manages to win, just barely. The confidence I had in my ground types is quickly eroding, but nothing can shake my confidence in Boys the Heracross, not even his silly name. Canary shows off her own Mega, an Electros, that looks like it has bongos attached to her arms. Either way, Mega Heracross is far too strong. A Brick Break Pin Missile combo defeats her Mega, ending the battle and getting me yet another rank. We're getting there, guys. Canary, well, not so much. She's what you might call a sore loser, and her granddad 100% does not know how to parent. Now, I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent, but even I know not to promise to buy stuff right after my kids yell at me. There's a word for enabling such bad behavior, it's called bad parenting. It doesn't really matter to me though, I'm out of here.
We hear from Vinny again about 3 more Rogue Megas. It's quite a coincidence there's always 3. It's enough for each one of these guys to take on, while I take all 3. Yeah, doesn't seem fair to me either. But first, I get a new skill to make rooftop climbing just slightly less inconvenient. It's called the Roto Glide. That's not gliding, it's falling with style. Regardless, it will make parkour marginally easier, still not ideal or fun, but whatever. The first Rogue Mega I take on is Howlucha. To counter the Flying Fighter, I bring along the Flying Normal Mega Pidgeot. Again, I am less than impressed with the amount of damage he's dealing. This is gonna take forever. About 1/3 of the way through this battle, an Air Slash hits me and I black out. Dang it. This time, I rely much more on Mega Feraligatr with Ice Fang and Liquidation. Defeating Mucha Lucha gets me the Howlucha Knight that I'll certainly use in short order. First, to level up my own Howlucha, I head to the second Mega, Bayonet. Now fighters normally are disadvantaged against ghosts, but Mega Heracross is not like other fighters. Look at how much freaking damage he does with a single Shadow Claw. Even the resisted Megahorn does a ton, assuming I hit the right ghost. That was probably one of the quickest Rogue Megas so far. Good job, Heracross. At which point, the mysterious L reappears, spouting some nonsense about me training alongside Zygarde. Ash never had a Zygarde? Hate to break it to you. Regardless, I do a few more side quests, like catching several Snowrunts, so I make sure I get the best of the best. The final Mega, in this cycle at least, is a Beedrill, who I'm a really big fan of, honestly. Mega Beedrill is awesome, and I really wish Ash owned one, aside from the temporary bug catching contest. Anyway, I decided to test out my own Mega Howlucha since I just got the stone. She's doing well enough, but compared to the last Mega, I don't like how long it's taking. Time to send out the bug again. His Aerial Ace does a crazy amount, and he defeats the much weaker Mega Bug. This random citizen, who I implicitly trust 100%, believes there's a connection between the Rogue Megas and the renovation at Prism Tower by that evil corporation. Since this just confirms my baseless suspicions, I'm certain he's correct. Anyone that agrees with me must be right, you know? With those Pokemon pacified via violence, it's inevitably time for another rank match. This time against Ivor. You remember him, right? The I fight Pokemon with my fists guy. So let's get another ticket. It again takes 2 nights to get those points, and then I head to the dojo. Of course, Josie, one of the students here, demands a battle while I wait for her master. What do I care? With Talonflame, it takes like 2 minutes. That's just long enough for Ivor to appear and misname me completely. That's not even close to Ash. Turns out he's looking for his lost sister, and he can't have a promotion battle because he doesn't have a phone. His thick, meaty fingers are too strong, and he breaks them every time. Instead, his missing sister has his phone, so now I gotta find her? Whoever could have guessed I wouldn't just immediately have a ranked match here. Would have been nice though. We turn to Emma, the detective, because that's literally her job. Not that she helps much. I'm the one who finds out that she likes to hang around this food truck that I've been to a number of times. You know, the one where the server totally looks like a member of Team Flare? But I digress. Not Team Flare Lady tells us that Gwen is friends with Canary. It's convenient that I know where she lives, and I have no qualms about telling anybody in earshot. It's inconvenient that she's still a brat. Case in point, Giant Man is just scared for his sister, and Canary goes off on him, saying he's stupid and ugly. Okay, maybe she didn't quite put it that way, but I got the message. Actually, I didn't, because she demands another battle before divulging what she knows. Didn't we just do this at the last promotional match? She doesn't do any better, because I still have a freaking Mega Heracross to one-shot her Electros. She uses some more inappropriate language, telling us that Gwen was headed to a fountain to help her learn how to beat water-type Pokemon with a Chandelure, because that's what helps me with type disadvantages, looking at artwork. I freeze said work with the new Snorunt, causing the water to immediately drain from the sewer. Pretty sure that's not how it works, but I don't know enough about fluid mechanics to prove it wrong. While walking around in the sewer muck, I encounter and catch several Noibats, a Pokemon Ash actually used a fair amount. I put one on my team briefly, but it still won't evolve for quite a long time, so it's not really worth it. I also get some Scraggies here too, so that's nice. I walk through a ghostly wall to eventually find Gwen. She refuses to tell me why she's down here, but invites me to beat it out of her. Hey, she's the one asking for it. I once again show off the versatility of my bug, knocking out Baynet and Gourgeist with no issues. Chandelure goes Mega and protects against Shadow Claw, which is not great, but a few more hits still knock it out, and no one stands up to boys. It turns out that Gwen came down here of her own free will, simply to get away from Ivor. And I've only been with the guy for 30 minutes, but I totally get that. He can be a lot, and I'm not just talking about his mass. With Gwen back as the official phone holder, it's a very important job, Ivor is finally ready for the next promotional match. Naturally, this guy uses fighting Pokemon, so I start with my trusty Talonflame. It hurts to have to squash a Heracross like this, but he's not boys anyway. The only issue with Talonflame is I use a lot of healing items because his best moves do a ton of recoil damage. But I think it's worth it, taking out Medicham and Machamp. Ivor's ace is a Mega Phalanx, not what I would have expected, but okay. Between Brave Bird, Aerial Ace, and Flame Wheel, the Firebird defeats him too, beating Ivor all on his own, even without a Mega Evolution. How come he doesn't get one? That's not fair. A Mega Talonflame would have been awesome. This brings me up to rank D. Only 3 more letters to go. Back at the hotel, I get a mysterious phone call from an unknown number. He's from the Rust Syndicate and wants to talk to me about a supposed loan that he claims Tawny took out. This seems like a scam, but I'll oblige them, because Tawny isn't around to tell me the truth. But she would never do something so stupid. Mr. Philippe is a high-ranking member of Rust, and with spiky mutton chops like that, it's no surprise. That's one way to demand respect. Another is through battling. He shows off a Mega Skarmory that's basically just gold with really long talons. Talonflame proves unable to defeat the Golden Bird, so let's give Raichu a chance. It's rare that he makes an appearance in battle, but he's specifically designed to zap birds. The front door of the headquarters leads me into this room decorated by live people. Are they just standing here to intimidate me, or are they more permanent fixtures? Either way, I'm unable to run in here, meaning I need to walk around real slow-like. It turns out that Philippe is not the boss of the Mafia organization. No, that title goes to Mr. Corbo, whose mutton chopless face is much less intimidating. Anyway, I was wrong. Don't get used to it, as Tawny was stupid enough to take out a loan from these people. Even though the principal was 100,000 Pokédollars, with interest, she owes $1 million. With a 1,000% APY, that's even worse than a payday loan.
Let this be a lesson to you kids. Don't take out loans like this. It's not worth it. Especially if it's to make a promotional video for an old hotel that only gets like tens of views. As a compromise, Corbo agrees to waive the 900,000 Pokédollar interest if I do a few jobs for him. This sounds like a great way to end up sleeping with the Magikarps, so I'm a pass. I do not negotiate with terrorists. Lita, on the other hand, does. He'll contact us, and by that I mean me, when he needs some favors. In the meantime, I get the next Challenger ticket, expecting to use it pretty soon. First, 3 new Megas appear that need to be gotten rid of. By the way, periodically throughout this game, new Wild Zones will appear with higher level and different Pokemon, just in case you were wondering. I decide to start with the Mega Mawile. Being a Steel type, Talonflame seemed like the best option, though I need to use plus moves to do any real damage. Again, he doesn't have a Megaform. I'm pretty good, fine, okay, with dodging these things, but Talonflame, not so much. I heal him back up, winning after a few more rounds. Hey, I didn't need Heracross that time. To prevent him from feeling neglected though, when I get to Mega Barbaracle, I let him go as wild as his little bug heart desires. Just look at that damage from close combat. He's a beast. In what feels like a matter of seconds, another Rogue Mega is calmed. Before I can head to the third, Elle asks me if I'm scared if every Pokemon in the city could succumb to a Rogue evolution. Well, I am now. Jeez. You see, even Elle agrees that Quasartico Inc. probably has something to do with this, and he's never been wrong about anything in his whole life. Wait a second here, Elle. Let's cool it with that whole beautiful world talk. You're going down a bad road, man. Trust me. The path to the third Rogue Mega is blocked, and Gwen knows how to help, but refuses to, unless I agree to a battle. It doesn't go any better for her. If anything, it's even easier for Mega Boys, since Chandelure doesn't protect this time. A little Phantump was blocking the way. Maybe confining them to Wild Zones isn't such a bad thing after all. Before heading up there, let's buy a Galatite and have Lil Snowrunt evolve. I also buy an Adamant to give boys, as if he weren't enough of a beast already. Now we can battle the Mega Ampharos. My Mega Glalie leads the charge to Icify the now Dragon type. He's not doing Heracross level damage, basically no one can, but it's not bad either. In the end, he can't quite do it, so I turn to Gabite, my little dragon, to pick off the much bigger one. Not too bad. Unfortunately, my deal with the devil comes due. Corbo wants me to teach a lesson to some ruffians. Oh man, I'm gonna have to kick out some squatters? I'm not cut out to evict people. Oh, they're not people at all. And as we all know, Pokemon have no rights, so I can do this. Yes, you just go hide in the corner. I have a chance to catch these Gengars, but fail. Oh well, Haunter is still cool. If Big Boss was gonna come down here anyway, why did he need me to do this? That just seems like a waste. For the second job, I head back into the sewers, this time to clean them up of these Mega Crystals. Heck, I'd do that one for free. Wait a minute, are the Rust Syndicate good guys? These jobs involve much fewer broken kneecaps than I would have expected. Once again, after my job, Corbo reappears to check on my work and tell me the most surprising thing I've ever heard. Somehow, Lysander has returned, and his name is L. No way. The real surprise is the events of XY happened only 5 years ago. Man, Lysander did not age well. Guess that's what a giant space laser does to you. Lysander took care of Corbo prior to his Mafia days, so he wasn't a complete baddie, I guess? The next job I have to do seems to involve a turf war. Okay, there's no way this can have a good outcome, right? I get there raring to go, and encounter some adults just talking or lecturing at these kids? What kind of turf war is this? They belong to the Society of Battle Connoisseurs, and, well, they're just boring these kids to death. This is not the turf war I expected, but at least there is a little violence as they chase them off with a battle. The adults, not the kids. Huh, Corbo's not such a bad guy after all. Well, let's not go that far, man. You're no hero. Not like these citizens, who are peacefully protesting because their homes and businesses are being turned into wild zones. That's a very valid complaint. But, in order to quash their rebellious spirits, Corbo and I team up to destroy this remarkably fit random dude. That hardly seems fair. Once they leave, Corbo asks the real question. Is Quasartico Inc. responsible for all this mess? And CEO Lady gives a response that would make a politician jealous. So basically, I still don't believe her.
let's do some stone shopping and get a Garchompite, right as Gabite evolves. With all of the work I've been doing, out of the goodness of his heart, Corbo clears my debt. Or, more accurately, clears Tawny's debt that was unwillingly thrust upon me. Just in time for my next promotion match against none other than Mr. Corbo himself. What a coincidence. He starts with an Arbok that Mega Garchomp would certainly be able to handle. Only problem is, I apparently forgot to give him the Garchompite. Well, that sucks. Guess we need to wait a bit longer for that reveal. But also, Gyarados gives me far too many problems, knocking out Raichu before he can Thunderbolt, Dragon Rushing Glalie, and bouncing on my boys. This is by far the hardest battle I've had this video. Feraligatr finally defeats the Water Snake, and Talonflame brave birds his Roserade. Corbo's ace is a Mega Scolipede who looks like medieval cavalry. His Lance is more than enough to defeat Talonflame, thanks in part to his recoil damage, and I give Garchomp another chance. He still can't Mega Evolve, but he does just enough to win. Beating Corbo gets me to rank C. Only 2 more letters to go. Oh, have I mentioned how many fist bumps there are in this game? There's altogether too many. You know what I would love? A celebratory dinner for getting to this rank. Or we could have the exact same thing we have every night. Lame. Well, the moral of the story here is don't borrow money from shady people, Tawny. Or if you do, rope your friends into it so they can resolve it for you. Our normal and not at all exciting dinner is interrupted by the first guest this hotel has ever had. Corbo! What's he doing here? Apparently he just wants to sleep. I mean, that is what hotels are for. The next morning, he gives Tawny an unusually large tip at just the right time, because the very next second, Mr. Mutton Chops himself comes in to demand her payment. Whew, that was a close one. And we can officially say that Tawny's ad wasn't a total waste, it resulted in a single guest. That was money well spent. That night, during the Royale, I'm about to run out of Moonlight, but I get a really good card if I can hit 20 normal attacks in this one battle. Well, it's Raichu's time to shine. He hits quick attack after quick attack, needing some heals of course, but I get 16,000 points from that battle. Awesome! In Wild Zone 16, there is a Froakie sitting on top of that pillar, way up there, that I spend an awfully long time trying to catch. But he keeps breaking out of everything I throw at him. I decide to just give up for now, and I'll try again later. I still want to catch him, even if he won't replace Feraligatr on my team. I have an unremarkable battle against Lita, though I will point out her ace is just a Staryu. Not even a Starmie. That's kind of sad. At least Naveen has a Mega Scrafty. It still pales in comparison to my fighter, but still. Not Team Flare Lady has a bit of an outburst, and our lunch is interrupted by Lebane, who is one of those battle connoisseur people. She invites Tawny and me, but let's be honest, mostly me, to an event hosted by her ladyship. That invitation is quickly followed by a threat, so you know it's serious. I'm ready to go right away, but my team forces me to change into something more proper. Okay guys, I look ridiculous. Either way, now it's time to hobnob with the rich elite of Lumiose City, including Jacinth. Basically, she has gathered all of us here today to put on a tournament, completely disregarding the fact that I've already beaten everyone here, some multiple times. Looking at you, Canary and Gwen. Right as Jacinth is about to unveil who I'm forced to battle again, Vinny saves the day as there are 3 more Rogue Megas. Peace out, y'all. Without me here, one of you might actually be able to win. We have another strategy meeting to figure out what our plan is, even though it always devolves to me doing everything, but this time, Jacinth has snuck into the room to listen. Wow guys, you didn't notice that giant mop of hair in this crowded room? It doesn't change anything though, we still need to calm the Megas down, starting with Mega Frostlass. With Swords Dance and Plus moves, Flare Blitz does a ton to both Frostlass and Talonflame. After several heals, I allow Feraligatr to end the battle with a simple plus crunch, and Jacinth was apparently watching this entire time. Yikes. Mega Altaria is no longer quad weak to ice, unfortunately, though Glalie does a great job following it wherever it goes. He dies, and I need to use Feraligatr once again. He is my second highest level Pokemon after all, right after Heracross. I have a feeling somebody's watching me again. She really wants me back at that tournament. But first, it's Mega Venusaur time. Now, abilities aren't a thing in this game, I don't know if I've said that yet,
So I expected plus Flare Blitzes and Mega Wheels to be a bit stronger against the no longer fat Sore, but I was sadly mistaken. Mega Glalie somehow does even less damage. This is one defensive dinosaur. In the end, as is often the case, I rely on Heracross to do what the others cannot, at least not in a reasonable amount of time. Tani and I are again invited back to the tournament now that we've cleared all those Megas, but she chooses to return to our hotel first for some reason. I don't know why. Because of this poor decision, Jacinth thinks we're avoiding her, we kind of are, to be honest, and traps the hotel in her own little battle zone. But this one is purple, so it's way different. A few battles later, including one against Labane, the scary and not at all timid maid, contrary to her appearance, who has a Mega Dragalge, by the way, the purple zone is removed and we return to Jathin's oh so important tournament, that they put on pause just for us. Anywho, here is the tournament filled with people I've already beaten. And first up is Canary for the third time in as many ranks. Talk about beating a dead streamer. This is the first time I've used Mega Garchomp though, so at least that's new. Unlike her Mega Electros, which is old news by now, nobody even cares anymore, and she still has not learned any manners. Charming. Next up is Ivor. It wasn't that long ago we battled him either, but this time I let boys take on the Mega Phalanx with a single close combat. That's what a real fighting type looks like. This brings us to Corbo, who I literally just fought like 5 minutes ago, YouTube standard time. With Mega Garchomp, things go a lot better. Right as I'm about to battle Jacinth and win this whole thing, Zygarde and even Elle breaks up this illegal fight club. They just letting anybody and their dog in here or what? Elle speaks Zygardeese, somehow, and just intuits that the dog wants another battle. Jacinth is more than happy to oblige. Oh, I haven't mentioned it yet, but Elle claims to have lost his memory of his evil world-ending days. That's what they all say, man. Back to the now, they make a special place for Doggy on the tourney board. Okay, that's pretty funny. Though technically he's cheating, bypassing all of the qualifying matches, which isn't fair. As we're about to begin, we're subjected to a slug infestation, allowing the dog to grow to its 50%, much less cute, form. Feraligatr still mops the floor with that supposed legendary, making him revert back to his dog form and run away in shame. You'd better come with 100% power next time. Lysander is going to help with that. Back to the tournament again. As you may have guessed, Jacinth is my next promotional match. Beating her will get me to rank B. So, let's get this started once and for all. She uses mainly fairy types, and I don't have a great counter for those at the moment. I mean, sure, Carbink being a rock fairy is weak to water, and I just so happen to have a water croc. Aurorus, on the other hand, is weak to fighting and not a fairy type, falling to a quad-effective close combat. Mawile is hit by a plus Flare Blitz from Talonflame, with a quick follow-up Flame Wheel. Gardevoir spends some time to calm mind, hitting with a Mystic Fire, for some reason, falling in 3 quick moves by my bird. Last, she sends out a Mega Evolving Clefable. You likely don't know this guy, but Mega Clefable totally reminds me of Pip from Chrono Cross, which was not as good as Trigger, but still enjoyable. Talonflame gets so close to winning here too, but can't quite make it. That honor falls to Raichu, who, very occasionally, gets to do something. As frustrating as it was having to rebattle everyone here, the end result of getting rank B almost makes up for it. I don't think she's the type of lady to fist bump. That sort of behavior is only for the common folk. Time to celebrate another victory, with, you guessed it, more curry. Technically, it's been a croissant curry this whole time, but that's just curry surrounded by croissants. It didn't feel important enough to mention, but now I have, and wasted everybody's time with that nonsense. Back to the story, where the degradation of Prism Tower, or more precisely, the unchecked Mega Energy it's putting out, is becoming more unstable. Mega Floette will somehow play a role at stopping that, which is why they need to find the strongest Mega Evolution user in the city. He doesn't really explain why you need to be the strongest to Mega Evolve Floette. I've been Mega Evolving since I could walk, but sure, I'll take his word for it. If I want that to be me, I'd better become A rank already. Keep dreaming, Tawny. I'm clearly the chosen one. For what is hopefully the last time, I sit outside a Poké Center on this bench until it becomes night. I have nothing better to do with my days anyway. Let's enter the last Battle Royale before I'm rank A. Again, I get really lucky, finding a card that gives me 20,000 points just for hitting with super effective moves. That's just called playing Pokemon correctly. Thanks to that huge boost, it only takes 9 trainers to get the 45,000 points. Now all I have to do is find out who the heck I'm facing. First, it's time to get some answers from Evil CEO Lady Jet. She continues to deny that they have anything to do with Rogue Megas, saying instead that during their renovation process, they just noticed Prism Tower emitting a strange energy. Well, maybe she's not completely to blame, but it's always easier to portray large corporations as bad guys. Just look at Umbrella. They did some not nice things. With that, it's finally time for our last strategy meeting on how to handle a new trio of Megas, including a Dragonite, Tyranitar, and Starmie. These guys are some pretty heavy hitters. This could be tough if Mega Heracross weren't a much stronger, heavier hitter. For Tyranitar, he's got close combat, and even Mega Horn does a ton. In less than a minute, that giant rock dino is defeated, and Heracross barely even got hurt. I wasn't a huge fan of Mega Dragonite's design when they announced it some time ago, and I'm still not. But it has grown on me just a tad, so I hate it a little bit less. I obviously try to use Glalie for this battle, but he dies before he can even Mega Evolve, which was not a great showing. Guess it's up to Feraligatr now. He does way better, but can't really dodge the successive Hyper Beams all that well, assuming that's what it actually is. I bring him back to life, only for him to die again to a beam that freaking explodes. How was I supposed to dodge that one? Garchomp can deal just that tiny sliver of damage, ending that monster's reign of terror. Speaking of monsters, Mutton Chop comes on back for another time to have a battle. I'm not sure why, but once you get to rank F, this game loves making you refight characters that you just defeated. Raichu, as he's contractually obligated, shows his face every 10 battles or so, finishing off Skarmory once again. Now we can talk about Mega Starmie, though I wish I didn't have to. Not because it doesn't deserve a Mega, it totally does, but not the Mega they gave it. Look at that thing. What's up with that? To make matters worse, while Mega Starmie does get a 140 base stat boost, nearly half of that went to attack. Making Starmie a physical attacker just feels wrong. Of all the new Megas in this game, and there are a lot, this is the one I like the least. You might like it, and that's totally fine. Everyone is entitled to hold whatever wrong opinions they want. To put this sad Mega out of its misery, Mega Heracross is loaded with bug moves. All it takes is 2 hits from each of them, and that was a very fast defeat. Good. I don't want to look at that thing anymore. I'd much rather see my last promotional match, Grisham, who keeps his face hidden. You can do that? Since we know absolutely nothing about him, and my opponents never seek me out for some weird reason, let's head to Emma to find him. As this information could be dangerous, she needs to put me in danger first to make sure I can handle the other danger. Sound logic. I expected her to Mega Evolve Ampharos again, but she leads with it instead. Okay, I wonder who her Mega will be then. It shouldn't matter. Mega Garchomp is destroying her whole team all on his own. Turns out it's a Mega Malamar. Well, alright then. Garchomp doesn't seem to care either way. Emma explains that while Team Flare itself is gone, there were up-and-coming new members, like Grisham, who are likely still around, suggesting I head over to Mabel to find out more. Who, in case you didn't realize, was one of Team Flare's scientists back in X and Y. So Grisham, or Gris, was a young lad when Team Flare fell, but apparently he was still quite skilled. As I'm leaving the lab here, I realize I've made a huge mistake. Hours ago, I got a side quest message from Mabel that I meant to come back around and do, but I totally forgot, getting swept up into the whole trying to get A rank thing. That quest was apparently simply getting one of the Kanto starters. This means I could have had one of them on my team this whole freaking time. Ash clearly had all 3, but in my opinion, his Charizard was the most iconic. So let's go with the little fire guy. The only problem is, he's level 5. This is gonna suck getting him into fighting shape. As much as it pains me here, Talonflame does get replaced by Charmander. There's just not room on the team for 2 Fire Flyers. He's been with me the entire game, so this is actually a really sad moment. Rest easy, bud. You deserve it. Mabel directs me to this food truck for answers. You know, the one with the server who is totally not a part of Team Flare? Well, I was right. Instead, she's a founding member of Team Flare Nouveau. which is totally different. I found you, Grisham. Like all bad guys everywhere, he wants to explain his evil plot before I can put a stop to it. Fine, I'll bite. We meet up in front of the old Lysander Cafe. Because of its association with Team Flare, it'll be the last place people will look to find Team Flare, the second one. Wait a minute. There's something wrong with that logic. Griselle doesn't want to tell me just yet what they're doing. She'd rather beat me up and be done with it. Too bad Mega Feraligatr is too strong, even against a new Mega Pyroar with an even bigger mane. And from that single battle, Charmander got all the way up to level 28. Not too shabby. They give me the whole backstory of Team Flare from the events of the previous game, but you probably already know that. Suffice it to say they're angry at AZ more than Lysander because he's the one who made that dangerous weapon. Sure, Lysander tried to use it to destroy an entire continent, but he was only driven to such madness because the weapon existed in the first place. Well, that's some revisionist history at its finest. Before we can battle, Grisham wants me to go into the depths of Lysander's lab and find more answers. Before doing that, I retreat to buy Charizardite Y, my favorite of the Megazards, and buy as many experience candies as I possibly can. While I have used these at various points in the game, I still have a decent stockpile. So naturally, I force feed Charmander all the candy I have in my bag, getting him to level 58, just a tad shy of my other team members' levels. Besides Heracross, of course, that guy is way higher than the rest. With that, Charmander can finally evolve, becoming a new integral part of my team. And together, we explore the labyrinth that is this lab. And I've gotta say, it was pretty cool walking through this place again, seeing the same sights we saw in X and Y. Thankfully, sans those little motion-forcing tiles. Down here, Lysander and Zygarde both appear to explain to me, Lysander, not the dog, that while AZ made the giant weapon 3,000 years ago, 1,000 years after that, he made something else that is currently inside Prison Tower. And that other device must have activated during Lysander's failed massacre 5 years ago. And wait, I thought he didn't remember anything. For someone with amnesia, you've still got an awful lot of memories there, bud. I head back to AZ to learn more about this new machine, and he confirms it. It's called Ange. That's a weird name. It was made to kind of grant eternal life to Pokemon, not by stealing life force like the other ancient weapon though. Either way, it's been activated somehow, and I need to stop it, because AZ is too old for this crap. Which is fair. As I start the battle with Grisham, I wanted to show off my new Charizard here, but Panguru is just begging to be close combated. And Malamar, a Megahorn. That's enough hogging the experience, boys. You need to give someone else a chance too. Then, we're right back to boys again, because Feraligatr is about to fall. Glalie puts Salamence on ice quite easily, and I quickly Mega Evolve my Charizard first, making Grisham look like a copycat when he does the same thing 5 seconds later. Okay, let's see which Mega Charizard is better once and for all. It's not really a fair battle though, as he has Protect and keeps blocking all of my best moves. I mean, I still do win, only after using a heal though, which I really didn't want to do. With Grisham defeated, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. The final rank advancement, where Ash Ketchum, after hours of work, becomes rank A. Now, I know that's where the video title implies this should end. Ash accomplished his goal, after all, but he's nothing if not a sucker for helping everyone else with their problems. So let's take down that ancient machine. It's not like I have much of a choice. That night, there is a giant explosion, and the whole tower goes haywire. Well, that's a lot of mega power. If we don't stop it soon, Pokemon all over the city will go rogue. And there's not nearly enough celebratory curry in the world to make me want to battle that many Megas. So let's head to the tower. Vinny is already waiting here. Now, there may not be any time to waste, but there is enough time for Tawny and I to waste having a battle to determine which of us gets the glory that comes with saving the city. Oh, I failed to mention that Tawny also got A rank the exact same day as me. She couldn't let me have just one special day to myself, now could she? Whatever, man. Let's just get this done already. She starts with a Meowstic that, thanks to a light screen, survives really well against my special attacking Zard. So much so that I let Heracross take the KO. He is scared away by Emboar, who gives Feraligatr a really tough time thanks to Thunder Punch and a burn. Third is Manectric, who will not Mega Evolve this time, falling prey to an eventual Bulldoze after it stops protecting. Her Goodra, hey, I want one, succumbs to Glalie, the resident dragon counter since I have no fairies. I swap into Charizard to melt Avalugg, who is immediately stone edged. Well, that could have gone better. Even Boys is having a hard time here, once again because of Protect. He does end up winning, but I had to heal him first, which is nearly unheard of for my bug. He doesn't struggle against anybody. Her final Pokemon is a Mega Meganium. To have the most epic of epic battles, I swap into the brought back to life Mega Charizard Y, who wins in a single Fire Blast. Now that's what I'm talking about. After that battle, Tawny just says screw it and chooses to go inside with Floette anyway. Then what was the point of that whole charade? I mean, I guess it makes sense. I should probably find Zygarde as a backup when she inevitably fails. And there she goes, Mega Evolving Floette, who carries her up into the tower, where the control room looks an awful lot like a throne. And hey, why not live stream while you're at it? Nothing wrong with that. She does the incredibly hard job of putting her hand in the clearly indicated spot to turn off the tower lights. Well, that went unexpectedly well. I bet you were expecting a butt here, weren't you? And there it is. Giant Floette-like vines start poking out of the tower, and the top looks like a flower mouth or something. For some reason, this reminds me of the final boss in Sonic Adventure 2. You know, the giant lizard who's like impaled by a spaceship. Yeah, it's a weird one, but hey, great music. Back to Pokemon. Remember all those rank trainers I complained about having to battle time after time? Well, they're back. But this time, they want to help battle with me, not against me. We form a path through the rubble so I can get to Zygarde ASAP. Along the way, I meet up with each of those trainers, and together we beat a band of Rogue Megas. Thankfully, these are more normal Rogue Megas and don't have a million HP, making it much more doable to battle 3 at once. Even Canary's Glasses Guy fan is here too. Now I can rest easy. While Canary and I battle more Megas, Terragon and his workers build arguably the least effective scaffolding to get me from point A to point B. I'm sure there's a better way you could have done this. The Rust Syndicate crew, being unable to find a ladder, do the next best thing. No, not use flying Pokemon to get me to the roof, they simply become the ladder. Well, I know time is of the essence and everything, but it's not every day I get to climb on a human ladder. I want to enjoy this. Well, that came out wrong, but you get what I mean. And that was an overly dramatic exit. I love how I just turn around and no longer care. Even Team Flare Part 2 is here, so they're not so bad after all. They really just want to protect the city too. With that, I finally get to Zygarde, who uses 100% of its power to superhero fly around and fight a giant tower. Well, that's a phrase I've never said before. While he's in the air, I'm on the ground beating up some Jumanji-like plants. Like any good leader, I lead from the front, while hiding behind a giant rock so my Pokemon can do all the work. With both flowers defeated, I temporarily take over as Zygarde and use Land's Wrath to deal some major damage. I repeat the same flower destroying process, now with Heracross, and use Zygarde's 1,000 arrows next. One more plant pruning later, this is getting awfully repetitive, Zygarde is now able to use Core Enforcer. All his moves sound awesome. I'm a bit jealous. Hopefully, all of the beating up of this tower doesn't hurt Tawny, who is technically still inside this thing. Well, it looks like Ange is now defeated. But wait, there's more. You know just what this game was missing? A giant space laser like the other Kalos game. Well, that doesn't look good. Thankfully, I kept that unremarkable pebble in my bag the entire time. It's actually quite remarkable, it seems, as it's a Mega Stone that I immediately chuck right off the edge. That was a risky move now, wasn't it? It all worked out in the end, as Zygarde grabs it and is able to Mega Evolve, getting an enormous bazooka. I thought this was Pokemon, not Digimon. His bazooka shoots out an even bigger and more powerful laser to cancel out the first one, ending the final boss battle. And this time it really works. We can tell because of all of the fireworks. Go me! And to a lesser extent, Zygarde too. Oh, Tawny and Floette get out of there alive too, just in case you were wondering. And that, my friends, marks the end of the game. At least the main storyline. There is a bit of post-game stuff that I do want to cover really quickly. First, we jump ahead a short time later to find that AZ has finally died. It's about time. Humans aren't meant to live that long. It's bad enough remembering all the stupid stuff I've said and done at 34, Can you imagine how much more I'd have at 3,000? But also, it's sad how little time he got with Floette. Sure, they had the past 5 years, but compared to 3,000, that's basically nothing. At this point, I should probably admit that I was wrong about Jet the whole time. It's not my fault though. There were clues about it everywhere. I'm not some weird conspiracy theorist. Oh yeah, I still have a wish to fulfill though. It turns out my wish options are quite limited. And 2 of the 3, Quasartico Inc. can't even fulfill. Then why give me those options in the first place? In the end, my wish is effectively wasted, because I use it, under duress from Tawny, I might add, to continue the Battle Royale. In other words, I wished for something that was already happening. Well, that's mighty depressing. You know what I really wish for? A better Mega Starmie. Before actually ending the video, there are a few last-minute Ash encounters to get. Where the tower once stood, there is now the 20th Wild Zone, where you can find Pokemon like Tepig, Lucario, Charmander, who I already have but let's get another. Basically, there are tons of starter Pokemon in this area. At one point, I even find an Alpha Dragonite that I managed to get. I've been wanting to use a Mega Dragonite almost this whole time. So here he is at the very end. I finish catching the starters here, and finally return to that Froakie on the tower, getting smart and using a netball. And that marks the end of Ash's second Kalos journey. I know there are more encounters that Ash could have caught in this game, but I wanted to do all of this without any help, meaning no walkthroughs or outside information. It was my first playthrough after all. That being said, I did a fair amount of exploring, I just didn't focus on side quests. I know it was a long video, but if you've made it this far, you must have enjoyed it, right? In case you cared, I would probably give this game a 7 out of 10. I admit I had fun playing through it, but there were so many little things I just didn't quite get. Specifically, like constantly battling these same trainers over and over again. And while it was cool the story linked back to X and Y, the final boss, a flowery tower, was not that great. Still, if you're looking for a fun time, you could do worse than this. Anyway, thank you for watching, a special thanks to my YouTube and Patreon members, and I hope to see you in the next region.